everyone, welcome to another episode with a woman founder today. She is the founder of PinkBox, Sanjana Pai. We are extremely proud and we are extremely delighted to have her here. She's inspiration for so many women. She has started her own company, which is women-centric products, especially in a healthcare, tough competitive space like healthcare. There are a lot of lessons to learn from her. So let me go to Sanjana. Sanjana, could you please let the viewers know a little bit about the pink box?
Sure, Alicia. Firstly, thank you so much for having me here. I am really happy to do this. And I personally have been a champion of women and girls' development and education for so long. So to do something like this is very meaningful and meaningful for me. And yeah, again, really have it. I'm the founder of the Pink Box. We work in the menstrual hygiene space. We are a platform for eco-conscious and sustainable period products, and we focus on products that are good for you and your body as well as the environment.
That's amazing. So, Sanjana, how did you come with this idea? What is the bigger purpose that is driving you to do this?
Right, the bigger purpose, I think the biggest purpose for me is to see India as a period positive society
Mother strong, sister strong, then country strong.
where menstruators are not held back by the stigma caused because of periods, right? Our lives, we've seen so many people. I think everybody who's watching this right now will know at least one or two women or girls in their lives who had some sort of period related issue happening. They may not be allowed to enter the kitchen while they're on their period. They might not be allowed to even sleep on the bed. A lot of times people even don't allow girls to kind of go for exams just because on their period, because you're supposed to isolate yourself at that point. um, and this causes a lot of barriers for women and girls on their period, which should not happen in my
औरतों के
opinion.
लिए बीमारी से मरना शर्म के साथ जीने से बेहतर है।
It's a natural biological process, right? If you didn't have your period, it would mean something. It would be something to worry about. The fact that you have your period means your body is functioning completely normal. So the big purpose for me, with behind the pink box, is to see India as a period positive society.
Amazing. So, you had earlier started Poro, which is a affordable luxury brand. So, are there some lessons that you learned from that you are also incorporating in the pink box?
Yes, interestingly, I actually started the pink box first. I started it way back in 2018, and Poro is a more recent venture that I've been working on along with my husband. So there are more learnings from the pink box that I'm putting in Poro right now. So first thing is e-commerce is changing every single day, whether it's the algorithms or the platforms. So there's a need to constantly keep updating yourself. There's a need to constantly keep innovating. You can't just create one product or one website and say, this is it, this is how it's going to be. You always have to do better and better. You have to do more and more. I graduated in MBA from Symbiosis Pune, SIB in Pune, and so did my husband. And one thing we learned over there, our specialization being innovation and entrepreneurship, was the concept startup where you build, measure, learn, right? And that's something that we've really put into play with both the ventures. Build, measure, learn is a cycle which it's, I think, something I learned from the pink box, which we're implementing with Poro right now.
So, lean in terms of keeping the team lean, or is it keeping the number of products lean? What does it exactly mean?
Right. So the lean starter methodology basically means you build a basic version of the product and then you put it into the market, see how it's working out. And then depending on the feedback you get from your consumers or your stakeholders, you better the product, right? That is the lean methodology. So like I said, it's build, measure, learn. So to answer your question specifically, it's a lean product, not like the number of products, but create a very basic version of your product and then see how it works out, which is what we did with the pink box initially, back in 2018, 2019. We took about 1.5, 2 years just to figure out what exactly was working out for people and what didn't. And that did not include just the product itself, but so many other aspects like the packaging and the logistics. So I started the pink box as a subscription box during your period. So 5 days before your period, this beautiful little box would come to your place. and you would have everything you need on your period at that point. Not only your sanitary pads and tampons, but also healthy snacks, healthy sweets, some stress busters, some teas to kind of just give you a good relaxing time. With it would we would have all these herbal teas which would like soothe your body and help in balancing hormones as well. So just to understand what was the mix of the products, we did a couple of tests initially. I adopted the lean methodology over there just to understand what kind of products people really wanted during their period.
That's really amazing. I think your company is going much beyond just products. I think you're doing something very impactful and deeper meaning, because I feel earlier women were feeling very shy about their periods and they used to not discuss about it. But you are making them enjoy the experience, celebrate the beauty of being a woman by sending soothing products and sending lovely gifts. I think you are breaking a lot of social barriers. So kudos to you for that. And I think from all women, hats off and continue doing such great work. So I want to know, like, while doing this amazing work, are there some challenges that you are facing to run your business?
Right. So I think the biggest challenge that we've seen with the pink box is, like you mentioned, people are shy talking about their periods. People are shy talking about their general health and well-being overall. I feel like as women, we're trained to kind of have our personal lives or our families or our careers as the first priority. We barely keep ourselves as our first priority,
Right.
right? But a healthy body leads you to a healthy mind, and if you have a healthy mind, that's all you need to function, right? So it comes back to the fact that if you don't care for your own body, if you don't put yourself at the top of your priority list, how are you going to do everything else on your list, right? Um, so the biggest challenge for me was getting people to actually talk about periods, to talk about their health problems, to just open up a little bit. And then we attack that problem just by going to the root of it, just making people talk about it. Whether it was our social media or our campaigns or these little cards we had in the box, we would really encourage people to talk about their health. We would encourage people just very basically saying periods are not taboo. It's a very normal biological process. The fact that you have it means your body is completely fine. And yeah, just we attacked the challenge by just talking about it, which is what I think everyone out there needs to do. Every menstruator definitely needs to do. And also, I think it's very important to have boys and men also be a part of the conversation, because in our society, in so many houses, it's like "Papa ke aage baat nahi karna hai,
Right.
bhaiya ko mat batana," and stuff like that, right?
Exactly.
And that just adds to the taboo rather than negating it. And it's very important to also make them aware of this, because as your family, as your friends, they can support you through those 5 to 7 days of discomfort that you're having. And I think recently in March there was this very shocking news that came out where a girl got her first period. She was just about 12 years old, and her brother actually beat her a lot. I think he beat her to death. I'm
Oh
not
my
very
God.
sure of that statistic. And that just goes to show that if he was just aware of
बहन को कोई ऐसी चीज देता है क्या? नहीं देता है, पर देना चाहिए. राखी बांधी थी ना, तो रक्षा का वचन निभा रहा था.
Yeah, that is so true. And I think you are really helping to break the barriers. I also see that your products are eco friendly. So, why have you kept this with a purpose? Like, is it not affecting the cost? And is it causing a problem that uh, affordability is also, I'm sure, a big thing which must be in your picture? So, how do you tackle keeping it both eco friendly and affordable?
Right. So, eco-friendly products are actually affordable in the long run. This is something that we don't really see on a day-to-day basis. On a monthly basis, if you're spending on a pack of 7 pads, you're spending about 70 rupees, right? If you multiply that by, a year or 5 years, it comes to a big amount. Whereas if you switch to an eco-friendly product like a menstrual cup or a period underwear or cloth pads, you are spending just about not more than 900 rupees, and this product will take you about maybe 5 to 8 years until you're actually done using it. So in terms of affordability, you have to look at the long term angle, and you'll find that Eco-friendly products are actually much more cost effective, and it's easy on your pocket first of all, and it's great for the environment as well. It takes one sanitary pad about 500 years to actually decompose and go back to whatever basic microplastics that they're made of, and still it's not good for the environment. Usage of plastics again is not good for your body. A lot of us tend to get rashes around our genitals during our periods, which is also because of the plastic component in the pads that we use. So, eco friendly products are definitely good for your body and the earth, and like I said, affordable.
That's lovely to know. So, what are the trends that you feel are shaping the menstrual hygiene industry today?
Yeah. I think, again, the importance of using good quality and clean products is definitely something that we're seeing a lot. This started happening sometime around the lockdown when people started getting more aware of what are the products they're consuming. So yeah, to answer your question, sustainable and eco-friendly products. There is a shift towards using products like menstrual cups and period underwear. Cloth pads is again something that requires more effort, I feel, in terms of washing it and drying it. One misconception people have with the menstrual cups is that you have to wear it inside your body, so it affects your virginity. But then that's not true. You know, your hymen is actually pretty stretchable, so a menstrual cup is not going to break it. And virginity is a social construct anyway. So why are we even talking about that in 2024, right? But yeah, overall, the trend is people are moving towards eco-conscious and sustainable products, and that's really great. You know, it's not only good for your body, like I said, but the planet as well.
That's amazing. So, Sanjana, what is the future of the pink box? What are the other, not just the other SQs, but what are the bigger, things that you're looking to do with this company in the long run?
Yes, in the long run, I definitely want to go more holistic in terms of women's health. You know, so far it's been primarily about menstrual health and menstrual hygiene, but we definitely want to make it more inclusive. You know, we want to talk about the different types of cancers that women face. We want to definitely go into pregnancy and pre and postnatal care. And secondly, we want to work with more corporates when it comes to the wellness of their female staff. We've already worked with brands like Vodafone India and Pinkvilla to curate, Women's Day boxes for them, and we've also done a couple of awareness lectures at co-working spaces like Innovate. You know, it was a part of I think Oyo's workspace vertical, and we've had lectures on PCOS, PMS, how to manage PMDD. So we definitely like to do more than that. I think at workplaces is definitely one area where women also need to put their health on top priority. So that's something we want to work on for sure.
It's amazing. You have such a amazing vision for girls to cover holistically about their health, and I think it's much needed. So, what is your most satisfying achievement till now that has been throughout this journey as an entrepreneur?
Oh, there are so many, but I definitely want to start with the. We had a campaign called "Gift a Pack of Pads" back in 2019, and through this campaign, we raised funds which helped over 2,000 girls in Mumbai and Pune, including girls stuck in lockdown affected areas in 2020, girls who were stuck in containment zones. In fact, we helped them gain access to sanitary pads and also period education. So until sometime in mid-April or so, about for the first 2 to 3 weeks of the lockdown, sanitary pads were not categorized as essentials, right?
Oh,
So people who were stuck in containment zones, they couldn't even go to the nearest medical or order pads at home, or that was not possible at all. So despite being in 2020, they had to resort to more to less hygienic means of controlling their periods, using cloth and rags and things. So during that point, we worked with a couple of NGOs who helped us get these pads to women stuck in those containment zones. And also, we sourced these pads from the Asmita Yojana, which is a government of Maharashtra backed initiative, where women make these cost effective pads. And it helps in two ways. First of all, you're making pads that are cost effective, so more number of people can get access to it. Secondly, the people making these pads are women who stay in rural Maharashtra. So they get to actually add to their household income. They get to have their own earnings as well. So definitely, our gift a pack of pads campaign has been my biggest, I think, the biggest highlight for me. Secondly, we were featured in L18 as one of the best seeded subscription boxes in India,
Wow.
and that's definitely a big win for us, right? It's L finally. I've also been featured in Newsex on period positivity and crushing the stigma behind menstruation. And yeah, we're India's first platform to do specifically eco-conscious and sustainable period products. So yeah, I think these are, I think, the big highlights for me.
That's so lovely, and I think you are such a big inspiration, having helped so many women during those difficult, tough times. It's not just about the business; it's about the impact that you are creating, and this will go a long way. So,
Yeah, and one thing I do want to mention is a lot of these campaigns that we had, right? We went to BMC schools in Mumbai, and I also worked with my alma mater, SIBM Pune. They have a social governance cell which would do a project where they would go to these little villages, schools and villages in Pune, and again talk about periods and distribute sanitary pads. And we get so many diverse questions from these kids. They're as young as 10 and they don't know about periods yet. So, first of all, we give them that basic education before they start their periods. And secondly, they have questions like, my mom doesn't allow me to go to the temple, but I want to pray. So what do I do? So these are very innocent, but it also makes you think that yeah, there's definitely a deeper connection that periods have with not only your body but even spiritually that we don't really think about,
right.
right? So I think, yeah, I think on an individual level, anything that we can do, whether it's you or me, whether it's anybody watching this, please definitely do that. Whether it's talking to your help about, do they have access to pads, or talking to your help about, have you spoken to your kids about this, or would you like me to have that conversation with them? Just familiarizing the people around you about menstruation, about hygiene. I think that's very important. That's something we should all work on.
Yeah, that's so lovely. I wish there was more open discussion. So, Sanjana, if I can ask, like through maybe your company, your company data, people who are buying the products, do you see more men buying the products? Do you have a breakup of gender wise, or do you see like even young kids buying the products on their own on your website? How does the data look like for India?
It's definitely women buying products for themselves. Although we have had so many men buy, the pink box hamper as a gift for their girlfriends or their wives or their sisters or even their moms. So that's a great data point to see that men are also being a part of it. But primarily, it's women taking care of their own needs and their own health.
Okay, I hope that changes in the coming time. So,
Yeah.
coming to lessons learned, and what advice would you want to give to young women who aspire to become business entrepreneurs?
Right. I think firstly, one big challenge that I faced during my journey was I started up when I was very young. I was just about 24 when I started. So, business partners that I would work with, especially people who are much older, people who were in their 30s and 40s, they would see me as a mentee, not as a client. हमारा काम है इसको गाइड करना, हम बता देंगे इसको, हम बता देंगे आपको कि आपका बिजनेस कैसे रन करना है. Even though they were not even from this field, they were doing something completely different, but they would have that mentee vibe when it would come to me. So I think the biggest thing we need to know is that you know your business better than anyone. So just be confident and continue doing what you're doing. Don't let other people tell you ki no, 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 don't do this, don't do that. You definitely have to be open to multiple opinions. You have to be open to advice and suggestions because that's only going to enable you to look beyond your own perspective and look at things from a more holistic angle. But the final call you take has to be your own. It has to be your judgment because it's your business. So, yeah, these are two things I'd like to tell people. First of all, be confident and just continue what you're doing. And second, be open to diverse perspectives, but the final call has to be yours.
And looking back, is there anything you would have done differently when starting out?
Yes, I think initially when I started the Pink Box, there were just about two other companies who were doing something similar, which was a subscription box. And in the first year itself, I think I came across two or three other people who were doing something very similar. In fact, they were even copying content directly from our website and putting it on their website. So that would make me very upset. That would make me very angry or irritated. But I think looking back, I would be less worried about people trying to copy the business and just focus more on the business itself. I think whether it's your venture or your career, what you make of it is finally what matters. How much effort and how much focus you are putting into it, rather than being worried about, what is he doing, what is she doing, कैसा लगेगा, कौन मुझे कुछ बताने वाला है, blah blah blah. So I think more focus on the business itself instead of worrying about potential competitors. That's one thing I would do differently. Secondly, I think I would definitely network more, especially with women entrepreneurs. I would have loved to understand journeys of other women entrepreneurs around me, learn from what they have been through and how they have tackled situations. So yeah, more networking for sure.
So you mentioned you have loved to learn from other women entrepreneurs. My next question is like, who has been influential in your journey throughout the entrepreneurship? Is that somebody you would recommend to those who are listening? Who could they also follow and learn from?
Um, so I think one public personality would be Vinita Singh. She's the CEO of Sugar Cosmetics. So her journey, from MBA to Sugar Cosmetics, it's very inspiring. You should definitely listen to her podcast, read her articles. Even on her Instagram, she keeps sharing a lot. So Vinita Singh's journey is definitely something I'm very inspired by, and I think people should definitely keep their eyes on what she's doing and how she's handling situations. It's very motivating. On a personal level, for me, I think it's definitely my mom. She's a CA, and the way she handles her work, her personal life, my grandparents, and the house and social impact projects also that she's a part of. I think nobody for me is more inspiring than my mom for sure. And I speak specifically when it comes to women, right? So yeah, I think the way my mom has handled her career, juggled so many different things, that's definitely what I look up to the most.
That's amazing. So, since you mentioned about a work-life balance, how have you managed it, and what advice do you have for entrepreneurs who are trying to manage? Because all we hear is like, there's so much debate about 70-hour work week from entrepreneurs. What do you think about it?
I think it really depends person to person because everyone has a different bandwidth, everyone has different thresholds, everyone has different priorities, commitments. So it really depends on you. I think it's different for everyone. But like one generic thing I would definitely say is it's very important to prioritize your tasks every single day. What I do is at night I just make a list of all the tasks that I have to do the next day, and then I number it as per priority. What is first priority, what is second priority, and the next day I make sure that I go by that exact numbering. You do the more important things first and the more menial things later on. So prioritizing your tasks every day is, I think, most important. Secondly, you should get help wherever you can. If you don't have to do everything by yourself as an entrepreneur, you have to find experts in certain fields where you feel like you may not be the best person to do it, or this is something that you would prefer somebody with more expertise to do it. So delegating is, I think, very important. And thirdly, if possible, keep a separate work sim or a different work phone, or a lot of phones have like a different work mode nowadays. So keeping to those specific timings is, I think, very important. I know a lot of people who strictly don't work after 7:30, who strictly don't work on Saturdays and Sundays, and you really need that to avoid burnout. I think these 3 points are, I think, how I maintain my work-life balance, and I would definitely encourage other people to do that as well. It's very important to keep that difference between personal and professional.
That's amazing. So, Sanjana, I think many people would want to know this since you are from the top institute, Symbiosis. How has that, helped you in your entrepreneurial journey? Now, many young people believe that they want to start up, and there's a craze because this country is very aspirational. But do you really need to have a top-notch education for that? So, from you, I want to know: is this education helpful, or if somebody is in their early 20s, they feel they should just start and learn rather than going for a degree and learning? What are your thoughts on that?
Again, I think it's very situational, Alicia. For me, I'm the first generation entrepreneur in my family, so I felt like I wanted to learn about tools that could help you start a business. I wanted to learn about different methodologies when you run a business. So for me, pursuing a formal education first and then starting a business was important. But there are many people who come with a business background or who are born with business acumen, so it depends completely on you, I think. If you're 20, 21, and you want to start up, you should definitely do that. If you're in your late 20s, mid 30s, mid 40s, if it calls out to you, then definitely do that. And yeah, I know a couple of people who are just about 22, 23, and they already have their own social media agencies. They already have their own digital marketing agencies, and they're doing really great. So for me, it was MBA first and then business. But for a lot of people, it could be business first and then MBA. So I think it really depends on you as a person. What do you think your goals are? How ready do you think you are to, get into work and business straight away after completing your bachelor's? I think it's really situation. I think it depends person to
That's yeah, I think that's really nice. It's situational and each to its own. So you
yeah.
also mentioned that you run a business with your husband. So I wanted
Yeah.
to ask, like, for in your case, of course, your life partner is also your business partner. But for others, what advice do you have in finding a good co-founder? Usually, people try to start with their friends, but there are a lot of synergies that may not match. So how do you, find a great co-founder?
Yeah, there are a lot of different incubators, accelerators, networking events where you can meet people who come from different backgrounds and expertises. So again, networking, just speaking to people, understanding what they do, what their goals are. I think that definitely helps you find a co-founder. And there are a lot of business groups, whether it's like WhatsApp or I'm a part of Lead Club, which is a women's only a community for women in profession and business. So I think platforms like that can also definitely help. So I think, yeah, WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, incubators, accelerators, networking events. There are a lot of different avenues where you can find your ideal co-founder.
That's amazing. So, Sanjana, just one last question that I had. So, you are building a menstrual hygiene company, and the space is getting more competitive as people are becoming more aware. But also, the demand is also increasing. But there are both sides to the coin. So, how do you see navigating this challenging landscape?
I think it's very important to competition is definitely very good and very healthy. But I think collaboration is equally good and equally healthy. Because like you mentioned, there are more products, but there are also more people every single day having to, using those products, especially in this industry, right? Every day somebody is turning 12, 13. Every day somebody is starting her period. Every day somebody is turning, 45, 50. They're getting into that post perimenopause or menopausal period, right? So I think instead of sitting and competing, I feel like the best way to navigate is collaboration, right? If I am doing menstrual cups, I would like to collaborate with somebody who's doing cloth pads so that it can be a more holistic care product that we can provide our consumers. But yeah, I think collaboration is the best way to navigate.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Sanjana, for this.